I have got a little surprise, but also I am going to be making a Christmas wreath. I adore wreaths, and this one has a bit of a personal touch.
Bok, I'm Mandy O. This is Grow, Make, Cook, and welcome to my garden. I grew up in Australia in a permaculture family, but after we got married, Mr. O and I moved here to his home country of Croatia. I am a passionate and hands-on homemaker and gardener, and I love life's simple pleasures. So join me on my journey, and together we can learn to grow, make, and cook. This is the second week in December, or Prosinac.
Oh, you're probably sick of hearing about my spindle, or wreath, but it is coming along nicely. I actually am surprised by how much work it's taking to file this down to make it smooth. But we've finally got our whirl or weight or whatever you want to call it set, so I can slide that down on there, and as you can see it's not very even, but once it is, it'll slide down over that, sit down on there, and we'll get ready for the spinning to begin. We have a new helper here that is with us, Georgie. This is Maya, and she has been a cheeky little bundle of fur. Smile for the camera. Nope. But you'll probably be seeing a whole lot of her in the garden from here on out. To anyone else who grows hops, these twining stems are going to look very, very familiar. This is a native variety of hops that grows wild here in Croatia. And I quite like them. They're lovely climbers and they add depth and interest in between our plum trees down here. And I think they're going to make a wonderful base for a wreath. Now, I adore Christmas wreaths, and I think that they can come in all colours and shapes and styles, but for me there are two essential elements: something woven and something green. Often I choose for my something green things like pine branches and, you know, those typical evergreens. But as a bit of something a little bit different, this time I'm going for this ivy which I've got growing down here, which I think is going to make a lovely, little bit different Christmassy wreath. And the last thing that I'm collecting for my wreath is some of these lovely seed heads from our goldenrod down here in the field. This is a beautiful and I think a bit of a bright combination. I love this kind of goldy white and the black stems. I just think they've got lovely contrast, and I think they're going to really add some kind of texture but also colour to my wreath. Now, hops, as well as making a tasty dog toy, is great for making things like wreaths because it's quite flexible and bendy, and so you can really use your imagination and make all kinds of shapes. So what I'm going to do is start with just a shortish piece, and I'm going to tie the same knot you tie your shoelaces with, but over and over and over, around and around and around, just starting a little loop, and I'll flex it and bend it and make it even later, but just so long as we get the rough size that we're looking for started now. And now that I've got that basic twist worked in, I'm just going to use the bends that happen naturally in your hops fibre to kind of weave around and around, just sort of wrapping it around, looping and looping. And that is what they do naturally. You can see there, that's what they do naturally on the tree. They wrap around themselves to climb up the trees or the trellis or whatever you're growing them up. So it kind of uses that natural shape of the hops, the way that it normally wants to go. This hops wants to go into her mouth, huh? Into her mouth. And then for the ends, all I'm doing is chopping the rough bits off and then tucking them in as I go, so I don't have a lot of big pokey out bits that I have to deal with later. And now that I'm adding some rather bulky pieces around my base, I've actually got a little bit of string. Now, I have heard people say that if you use twine or string in your wreath making, then that's cheating. You should weave everything in, so that it stays tightened together. But I'm not a weaver. Well, not a very good one anyway. And so, realistically, I'm only doing this for the holiday season. They're not permanent decoration wreaths. So, for me, a little bit of string seems just fine.
For me, making my own decorations makes the holiday season feel personal. I like to decorate for the holidays in a way that does not chop down any trees. I prefer keeping all of our lovely evergreen trees out in the yard. And my wreath is made from the things that I grow and that grow wild in my yard. It's my wreath. I grew it, and now I'm making it.
And now that I'm happy with the thickness of my wreath, I am going to start adding my greenery. And this is a little bit like flower arranging, really. All you're doing is looking at it and thinking, where would I like that to sit? So I'm just taking the ends that are a bit, thin and little and pinching them off so that I have a nice thick bit to kind of thread in. And apart from that, this is really just like decorating, really.
I think that making conscious choices about how we decorate, both more generally and during the holidays, helps you to really feel at home in your space.
Not too bad, if I do say so myself. Now, I've kept a lot of the green just closer to the bottom to make it feel like it's a bit heavier, so that when I hang it with my string at the top, it'll look like it's got some weight down the bottom. I'm just going to add in these little seed plumes, and I'm going to hang those down the bottom here as well, just poking them in like that, just into the weave of the thing, trying to make them stick in a little bit firmly, just so that it's got a little bit of colour down the bottom. I'll just pop another one of those in, I think. Maybe about there. It seems to be snowing seed heads inside. Maybe one here on the other side. A little one perhaps, like that size. Poke him in there. There maybe. Now, I'm just going to get a little bit of string. Just take one of those. Loop in there. Maybe move that over a little bit more that side. ready to add a little bit of festive cheer to my front door. I think that's about all we've got time for today. So thanks for stopping by. If you like what we're doing, remember to like the video. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And if you want notifications, use the bell icon below. And until next time then, do widzenia.